Want your video's colors to be more accurate? Want accurate skin tones? In this simple tutorial, I'll show you how to set your white balance without requiring you to change your camera setup. Let's get into it.
Delivering informative capability-based reviews and tutorials on camera gear, filming techniques, and content creation.
Hi, I'm Simon, and this is The Ordinary Filmmaker. If you're new here, subscribe to get notification of new videos as they come out. And all the links to everything I talk about in this video, including gear that I'm about to discuss, are placed in the description down below. When shooting outside, skin tones and color accuracy look pretty good, but you'd be surprised at how often colors shift slightly, leaving your videos a little flat. Low light shooting poses its own problems, and it can be difficult to make everything look good in post. Last week, I conducted this poll on white balance. Most of you said that you let the camera do the work most of the time. If you do, stick around and I'll show you how to ensure you get the most natural looking colors inside and out. Cameras, no matter how good, rarely get it right when you're shooting in auto. I'm not saying you should go to the effort of shooting in manual all the time. If you're creating content for YouTube or for professional purposes, then yes, manual is best, and that's how I'm recording right now. My f-stop, my ISO, my exposure, white balance are all set, so it doesn't change while I'm shooting. But for family videos, where your subject is moving around a lot, auto will work fine for you for most of the time. But there are a few tips and techniques that you should be aware of, and in this video, we will focus on getting the white balance correct. It will only take a few minutes to correct your white balance, giving you natural looking colors and skin tones every time without having to do any setup on your camera. I shot these clips on my Canon 70D a few weeks back. I shot the video in full auto. That means that the camera makes a lot of decisions on things such as ISO, white balance, exposure, shutter speed, and f-stop. Did you notice anything wrong with the colors? Did they look a little bit off? Let's watch them again. This time, notice the lack of blue or green in the water and the plants. It's subtle. Everything is shifted with a heavy emphasis towards browns and yellows. Still having trouble seeing the difference? Let's focus on this clip. Look at the reeds and the water around them. The reeds aren't green, and the water should have a slight blue tint to it, despite the water being a little swampy. With the white balance set, we can see the green back in the reeds, and the water has that slight blue tint. It's not a lot, but it gives the clip more range and makes it pop just a little bit more. Most videos shot outside during daylight hours requires very little adjustment, as you just saw, but I want to enhance the moment, not just take away from it. And once you get good at correcting the balance, you can then start to exaggerate certain colors ever so slightly to make them pop. But you have to do your white balance first. But examples of enhancing would be, well, making the blue sky just a little bit more blue, or making the water just a little bit more blue, or making it a little warmer, or taking that green grass and making it a little bit more green. But color grading is a topic best left for another day. Let's get back to today's topic. Your camera will not perform as well using auto settings in low light. Low light is considered to be anything shot inside or outside where lighting is reduced, like during an eclipse or sunrise, sunset, or even during heavy cloud cover. My studio counts as low light. I've already set the white balance in the camera along with the ISO, shutter speed, and f-stop. This video that you're looking at has already been corrected, as has the audio. I've already set the white balance and added a mask to reduce the redness on my face that I get from these intense lights. Let's go back to the footage straight from the camera. You can see that my face is a little bit too red, too blotchy, and the colors are just a little bit off. Setting the white balance is very simple and easy to do, and I'll show you. But you will need a white balance card to do this properly. At the beginning, when I started filming, I held up this white balance card to my face and I held it like this. Well, let me show you. What I want to do now is I need to go up to Color Correction Selector and I want to choose Balance Color. Boom, done. Now, this is what Final Cut thinks looks good. Most of the time, this feature does a pretty decent job, but sometimes it overcompensates. And on a few rare occasions, it will present you with some psychedelic look that makes it look like you're back in the 1960s. I don't trust editing software to set the white balance automatically, and why should I? I also don't trust my camera to do it either. To set the white balance manually, I hold up this white balance card at the beginning of every video. If I shoot multiple scenes, I hold up the card again. It doesn't take much effort. If lighting changes, again, hold up the card. For best results, you want to place the card close to your face like I have here, to advance ahead a frame at a time until I see a gray shadow cast across the card. Perfect. Now I want to change the method that I use to balance color. Let's go ahead and select white balance. Now the cursor has just changed to an eyedropper. Now what I want to do is I want to move this all the way down to the gray part of the white balance card and click. That's it. We're done. We just applied the white balance manually. Now let's go ahead and do it for this video. As you can see, setting the white balance in post is easy. Just make sure to have a white balance card with you at the start of each video. Don't have a white balance card? Well, you could use a piece of paper until you get one. I got this white balance card from Gregg. It's cheap, $8 shipping, and as far as I know, it delivers to the US and Canada, but I think he does ship around the world. Reach out to Peter and find out. You can also find a white balance card that has gray or fancy ones with white, black, and gray. If you're interested in a white balance card, I've placed a few links down below. They're all from Amazon and cost less than $20. That pretty much covers what you need to know about correcting your white balance. I told you this was easy. But you will notice that something is missing here. My color isn't quite right. My face is a little bit too red. Sometimes I look a bit like a tomato. There we go, that's better. As I said earlier, my skin gets quite red sometimes, especially when I'm under these lights. And lighting is very important. Proper lighting, sound, and set can save you hours of editing. When I first started, I used to spend a good hour on each video trying to fix audio and video. Now I spend no more than about 3 minutes because everything's set up properly. But we don't always have control over the environment we shoot in. The scope of this video was to teach you the importance of manually applying white balance to your videos. In my next video tutorial, I'll show you how to create color masks so you can correct isolated parts of the frame like I did with my face. Notice how I've reduced the redness and softness? Well, I've reduced the redness and I softened the color without affecting the rest of the frame. There is one side effect though. I have blown out the black background just a little bit, but that's easily fixed by dropping the shadows just a little bit. And there we go. Stay tuned for my next tutorial on applying color masks and using color wheels. That's it for now. Thanks so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. All equipment used and notes are placed in the description box, show more box, or down arrow thingy next to the title on the mobile app.